Hi guys, good afternoon. I'm going to flip through this book, which is one of the first photography books that I ever bought. It's by the great Robert Frank. Has an introduction by Jack Kerouac. It's published by Steidl, who I've mentioned a number of times. It's kind of a small, compact book. I was attracted to it because it had the write-up by Kerouac, who at one stage of our life I was very interested in. Okay, I hadn't noticed that. It has the little pamphlet of the types of books that are available by Steidl. This one seems to have been collecting a little bit of moisture, which is one of the bad things about my room. With little ventilation, some of the books can get a little bit moist. I think it can be kind of expected. This is perhaps one of the first photos that I ever saw of Robert Frank. And when I first saw his photography, I knew that he was famous, but I didn't kind of understand exactly why he kind of was famous, if you know what I mean. It must have been back in 2004 when I bought this book. And it took me a while to kind of really like it and get interested in it as a book. And if you don't know the story of how this book was manufactured or how this book was compiled, I'm sure there's something on the internet about his famous trip. But let me look for something and I'll link it up as well. I mean, a very brief background about him from the top of my head is that he's originally from Switzerland, I believe. I'm going to be embarrassed if it's Sweden. It's Switzerland because he speaks French. And he's obviously a photographer. He brought his family to the States. And he got a scholarship to take photos of a project he was planning. And the project was basically to jump in a car and to drive across America. And he produced this book, which obviously is taken on a small, I believe it's a Leica camera. Could be different types of cameras. But it's a small camera. And this would be, it's going to be the 50s, the 60s, when street photography was basically non-existent. So I'd assume most of these people are quite confused about what's happening and why this foreign-looking guy is taking photos of them. But what he did capture was quite unique for that time. And kind of mysterious. The other guys who you want to look at if you like this type of photography, I've done some videos of them before, but you want to have a look at Robert Friedlander. Is it Robert Friedlander? Louis Friedlander? Oh my God. I'm sorry guys, it's Sunday afternoon and my brain is frizzled. Anyway, Friedlander, you definitely want to have a look at. Gary Winogrand. Stephen Shaw. I mean, all the greats of street photography. But, you know, these types of photos with big jukeboxes, empty dance halls, hotel lobbies, you know, views from hotel windows. It's kind of what Robert Frank is famous for. I do want to one day drive across America. I've never been to mainland actually. I'm a little bit scared of the gun culture they have, but pretty sure you'd be okay. This picture's always interested me because if you notice that the difference in how sharp, like it's a really sharp photo. The blacks are very black, the grays are kind of very gray. That's almost like a silver back there. And then that photo is more, you know, the blacks aren't as dark. It's always stood out for some reason. I don't know why it looks different. Maybe it was a different type of film stock. I used this photo once at work because I used the desk once. I had a wall in front of me, so I pasted it onto the wall, and I was kind of joking that it's not good in your eyes to look at your screen all day. So at least with this photo, I could see the horizon. Not entirely sure if it worked. I've got a couple of other Robert Frank books. I'm pretty sure I filmed one. I think this is probably the most interesting out of all of his books. Maybe the most famous. He did take a lot of photos. Passed away a few years ago. And I believe for a large portion of the last part of his life, he was living in Nova Scotia. Is that how it's pronounced? But he was living out in the sticks or the woods. Again, this is kind of what he's famous for: drive-throughs, big Cadillacs. I mean, there's a kind of mystery to some of these photos, isn't there? It's a Mississippi River. Crosses at a scene of a highway accident. Heard was also interrogated by either the police or the FBI, who found it to be quite strange that this guy was traveling across America, you know, with so many rolls of film. He's also got a lot of parties of this kind of high social life. This is another favorite of mine. Very similar to that car photo that I mentioned in terms of how clear. You know, how clear it is. It must just be a different film stock. Or maybe it's the time of night he shot. This one's quite an interesting one where his head's covered by the tuba. Got access to some pretty interesting places. Excuse me. Hested's Remember Your Loved Ones, 69 cents. I guess they're selling flowers. Department store, Lincoln, Nebraska. Yeah, this is another classic photo of rodeo. I mean, it looks like a cowboy. And it does look like a city, but this side looks more like a Western type city. I don't know. I've never been to the States. I've always loved that photo. This one also. Movie premiere. I mean, maybe William Klein is quite similar in terms of having someone in the forefront that's so out of focus. Kind of looks like Chet Baker. It's not him though. Okay. That says drugstore, but okay, that says drugstore. That does not look like a drugstore. Maybe they call them drugstores. It looks more like a milk bar. Okay. That's a cool photo. Chattanooga. San Francisco. We're getting towards the end, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed looking at this book. Are you a fan of Robert Frank? What do you think about him? Have you seen this book before, or is this the first time you've seen it? It is one of my favorites. Let me know what you think. I think that's his family. Definitely his family. That's the car they used to travel across America. Anyway, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed. That's The Americans by Robert Frank. Have a good day.